let's say that you could liken it to the civil rights movement, or you could liken it to flower power, or when young men, really boys, were dodging the draft to serve in Vietnam. Maybe you could liken it to the Tea Party or to the Occupy Wall Street movement. Or maybe you could liken it to the very presidential candidacy of Donald Trump, which clearly reflects a level of anger and frustration that many citizens feel. And I promise you, you can compare it to all of these relevant contemporary examples that mean something to our generation. And the comparison is anemic. It's flabby. It doesn't even come close to the eye of the hurricane where John Milton resided. When this guy was 19, he kind of had an idea that he would like to write an epic poem in the same category as Homer or Virgil. This is kind of crazy. He was 19 and he thought that he could do it, and that particular goal was completely abandoned in favor of joining a movement that was being led by Oliver Cromwell. And the movement at the core simply believed this: there is no such thing as a human being who is touched by the hand of God and given the divine right to lead. There was no such thing as a monarch. That leadership and ruling and governance should come from the people. That was the crazy idea. So imagine that you're living in a culture where there is heaven and there is hell and God is...
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Is present in a way that you and I mean, forget about whether or not you believe. Forget about whether you're religious or you're spiritual. Forget about all of that. The Christian God was just a totally different idea in this time period. So people did believe that monarchs were entitled by divine right to lead. People did believe that. And here comes a group of others who are going to assert that there should be no kings. No kings. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to kill Charles I. We're going to kill him. That took a lot of political maneuvering. John Milton, who absolutely did this George W. Bush thing, which is like, you are either with us or you're against us. He wrote pamphlets and essays and distributed materials which argued that killing kings was morally justifiable, that killing families that were associated with political royalty that have been responsible for killing other families, that killing those families guilty by association, that was also morally permissible. It was complete bloodlust. There's no question where John Milton falls on this argument. Everybody knows that he falls on the side of moving forward with governance that comes from the people. He gives his heart and his soul and everything that he has inside of him, he gives it willingly, of his own volition, of his own firm conviction. He is in it to win it. And he loses. The whole entire endeavor fails. The Parliament invites Charles II out of exile to come back and rule. I don't have to tell you that when Charles II comes back, I mean, not for nothing, but they killed his dad, right? So there are lots of, politically related executions for the people who were in the Cromwell bandwagon. Charles II does this radical act, which is that he dismisses the parliament and sends them home. So he is technically the last king of England to rule absolutely. So that's how far the pendulum swings the other way. For sure, John Milton survives all of that because he is so beloved in certain circles that have some power and persuasion, and he doesn't get killed as a result. And then he remembers when he was younger that he had this ambition. So now what he's going to do, write a poem about how it came to be that we were excommunicated from the garden, how it was that humanity fell, how it was that paradise was lost. Can't do it by himself. He enlists the help of his daughter because he can't see. Maybe to somebody observing from the outside, that guy looks broken. That guy is so not broken. And he proceeds to go to the good book, to the first chapter, and rewrite, and in so doing, reinvent how it is that we understand Genesis, how it is that we understand Adam and Eve, how it is that we understand the angels, and God, but most importantly, how it is that we understand Lucifer, how it is that we understand Satan. And all generations who came after John Milton have never known a world that is not alive and well and present with the Satan that he has rendered. This Lucifer, who declares that it is better to rule in hell than to serve in heaven, is something that touches every single aspect of our culture from John Milton's time to the very present day. So even at his lowest point, where he is most defeated by an adventure that took decades of his life, and being, well past his middle age for that time and blind, he still could hear his own greatness, despite the circumstances and the obstacles which would challenge him to forget about his inner voice. And that's exactly the point of the story. I don't care how old you get. I don't care how broken you become. Every time you're tempted to forget about your inner greatness, you just think about John